Hey guys, so I think you'll probably remember one of the last videos where I mentioned this front brake switch wiring problem and the crimped join in this harness here down to the plug socket arrangement. Now unfortunately I've been out riding in the rain over the weekend and wanted to clean the bike yesterday and noticed yet again that the rear brake light is stuck on. Quickly disconnected the front and it was still stuck on, and I've been forced to disconnect the rear brake lever switch wiring, which as you might recall, if I can get this light on, the socket is, let's see if I can get this on camera. Where are we? Yeah, you can just see in there that black plug center screen is what I've just managed to get my hand onto and grab and unplug, and yeah, behind it is the plug that it goes into. And if you're really lucky, you've got small hands, you can get just in here and undo it, but it's a bloody nightmare. So yeah, there's an issue with that. I spoke to Ducati yesterday and they've ordered this rear switch and the harness and the front one, because I wasn't happy that I had to do that myself. And it will also be interesting to see if that new cable that arrives for the front has that bodge splice, or whether it was just mine that had that issue. I also discussed the issue with corrosion on this, and you can see that especially the exhaust down here, it's just hideous, and various fasteners are now just covered in corrosion, and you know, I'm real careful to wash this. I dry it by hand with a hot air blower. Just going to go onto the front here. Don't know whether you can see this, but if you look around the lid of these caliper fluid pots, you can see that is all bubbling up. I can't do this, I'm holding the camera with one hand and the torch with the other, but yeah, you can make out all that corrosion underneath there. And we've got the same on the other side, and you'll notice around the little glass or plastic window there's corrosion there. Yeah, so really not very happy with that. If we just go to the back of the parts, you'll see there's no corrosion there. Hopefully it's the same with that one. Just trying to look myself, there might be a couple of little blobs of corrosion on that. And just down the left, yeah, obviously these brake bolts are showing corrosion. But it's, you know, under here it's particularly bad, and you know, I get in here every time and scrub these clean. I use muck off, hose it down, and then a shampoo, and then another hose down, dry it off, and then use the hot air to make sure the bike goes back in here absolutely dry as possible. Again, you see on the clutch hydraulic unions there's you know, a bit started. This rear sprocket carrier, so you can see it on there. there's various sections. But I wanted to point out something. If you are going to use the hose, it can get under the seat, and just down where I'm pointing, the water accumulates. Let me see if I can put this light down. Yeah, just down in here there's a little trap for water, and the other side as well, just down here, and you can find that water can actually trickle all the way down this under seat area. And in fact, what I do is make sure that the alarm and these sockets are wrapped up in plastic, and a cloth is in this area here to soak up any water that might get in there. I'll be honest, I've never checked. You can probably see, yeah, I don't know whether you can actually, but I've never checked under here after I've been out in the rain. I've always assumed it's the fact that I've cleaned the bike that's allowed the water to get into there. Yesterday I realised that this lock, the little protective bit that slides across, is no longer working. That's how it should be, and I've told Ducati about that, so hopefully a new barrel can be fitted. Everything's been WD-40'd, and you know, it's not freed it up. I also noticed condensation in the indicators. Again, not sure you'll be able to. Yeah, I think you probably can. That looks like it's on the outside, but actually it's on the inside. So yeah, I don't know whether you can see right down the bottom, that fastener on the right hand side, just where my light tether is coming out, totally corroded, and yet this gets hosed, washed, dried, you know, every time. So yeah, a bit of an issue, I think. In fact, the Ducati dealer said to me, well, most Ducati owners don't ride them during the winter, but I don't remember seeing that in the handbook. There's also an interesting thing going on here. You can see where this is all, whatever it is coming out of the join. In fact, that looks, let me smell that. Yeah, that's condensation coming out. Despite running the bike for 10 minutes and everything getting up to temperature, there's obviously water that's got into here during the cleaning procedure, and it still hasn't evaporated fully. So yeah, you've really got to scrub these wheels clean. Again, I've started wiping them over with WD-40, especially in these in the corners, just in here, there, and in this section, and then obviously inside here as well. It's it no longer just washes off with water and a sponge. You can perhaps see a little bit in there that hasn't come off, and I've just bought some brushes to try and get in there a bit more readily. You see the corrosion on these bolts. I don't know whether this is just sort of standard these days. That exhaust looks particularly gruesome, but then the exhaust never really was fantastic in the first place. You may recall when it arrived, I wasn't exactly thrilled with the quality of it. Oops, managed to turn the light out. So, apart from the front caliper reservoirs, sorry, the front brake and clutch reservoirs, I think perhaps most of it is going to be treatable. Having done a bit of research, the best stuff available seems to be this aircraft industry. It's ACF 50. It's Anti-Corrosion Fluid. Oh god, where's the English? There we go. And they actually list a lot of aero uses. So yeah, thrust reversers. And apparently you can spray it and brush it onto already corroded items, and it will neutralize that corrosion and hopefully reverse it, and then prevent it from happening again. So I am going to go over certain areas of the bike very carefully with that. It comes as a, what is it, a litre, or 0.95 of a litre apparently, made in Canada. This isn't cheap. This was about 36 quid for that, and it came with a little ACF 50 spray unit, which yeah, so I didn't see much else on the market that's going to help. Managed to find a couple of brushes from down the road at Lidl, and I'm hoping that's going to allow me to, you know, spray under here and then get in there and give everything a really good scrub and see if we can halt this corrosion. You know, it's an expensive bike and I don't want it looking like a piece of crap. It's only 6 months old, and yeah, so we will see. Oh, I never noticed that before. That's the spark plug. Nice and easy to get at on this side. I don't know whether that's the same the other side. So yeah, we're going to give this a good spray and see if we can get this stopped. And yeah, I don't know whether it's just riding it in the rain that's causing the electronics problem with the brake switches, or whether it's, you know, being cleaned. I know Ducatis of old had misfires and electrical problems when they got wet. Another issue here is the anti-lock braking disc here. A lot of corrosion on this, and you certainly don't want that corroded in any way really. You don't want this giving false readings. So we're going to give it a good clean. You cannot get this stuff on the discs obviously, or the tyres, but everything else seems to be fair game. So we'll give it a good going over and yeah, see what happens. But I'm definitely not happy with this. That's definitely corrosion, and you just shouldn't expect that on a 5-month-old, 6-month-old bike. So yeah, if you've got one of these, just do whatever you can to stop this corrosion from happening. Get it treated with this ACF 50 in the summer. The application, depending on which part of the bike it goes on, can last up to a year, and obviously you're going to need to renew the application on areas that are more open to the elements. Yeah, I think I pointed this out before, but this new touring kit is rubbing on the seat, both sides, and if I show you the seat, which I think I probably did before, it's pretty much trashed this. There you go. Again, that is a good chunk out of that, and that is on both sides. Again, this is not the sort of quality of fit that I would expect from a large company like Ducati. There's probably a millimetre or two completely worn away there. Something else I'll be discussing when I go over to the dealer on the 10th. So anyway, I'm going to get on with the treatment, and hopefully we can improve things. But the brakes, that's a serious issue, having the brake lights stuck on. Anyway, just a quick update, and I'll update you again later on once I've treated this.